maybe. Oh, weird. That's new. Okay, so what about if I found someone who had an actual house? And we could go to it and do an actual walkthrough. I just find that it's going to be hard to pretend, like if you're not really. Do you know what I'm saying? Does it make sense, April?
Like how? Like what would you look for if you were walking into a property to wholesale it?
Well, I look at everything.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
what's everything?
well, the paint, the flooring, the appliances, the ceilings, the walls, the light fixtures, the windows, the toilets, the appliances. If I didn't already say that, I mean, and then before you go in, you look at the exterior, um, see what needs to be replaced out there. Like porch posts, roof, HVAC. I always take a picture of the HVAC and run the numbers because you can do that online. But what about if I found someone with an actual house? We could go in and they could get someone to actually show you. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, because I'm kind of a hands-on type person. I
Okay.
learn it sticks more if I actually walk through a scenario with somebody, um, where I can
Okay.
just jot down some things because I've actually been in wholesale webinars before, not through TRIA, but where people have given advice, about going in and filling up the washing machine, and other people are like, "Are you crazy?" And
Oh
it's just there's just a lot of things that details you can miss.
yeah.
It's like, are
And
you
some
being too anal?
Yeah, well, some of that's going to be a matter of personal opinion, but I think we could hit the highlights of what to look for. I'll ask around and see who might have a house that we can use. We're not meeting next week because of this next week's Venus Saturday meeting. So would the 18th be a good date to aim for that, or is there a better date?
I'm flexible.
Okay. I'll put it in the Slack and see what people say, and then of course it'll depend if I can find someone with a place. If I can't, we'll bump it out another week.
Okay.
Sound good? All right. Would do y'all? I mean, is everybody else into that idea? That sound cool? It's not a bad
Yeah,
idea.
I'm good with that. I'm
All
good
right.
with that.
All right.
That's a great idea as a matter of fact.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
We'll do that. That's
I'm good with it.
all right.
Sounds great.
Then we can go have beer and wings.
Yeah, well,
That sounds
yeah.
good too.
There's always that. That's the best
Well, I
part.
missed the idea. What was it?
Well, April asked, could we have a meeting where we actually talked about not how to estimate repairs, but when you go in to look at a place, what you look at to see what you're going to estimate. And so I suggested, well, what about I just find that kind of hard to do. I mean, I could give you a list, but that only takes 5 minutes. But if we actually found someone who had a house, we could go in and like practice on. So that's what we'll do. Okay, Sheila.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Having problems with the mute button tonight. All right. Well, I'm gonna assume nobody got a contract for us because I haven't seen anyone jumping up and down and bumping at the bit. Maybe
I do have a problem. I do have a problem though.
All right. Well, you're
Um,
first. You're first anyway, so go ahead and start.
I did a couple of cold calls this week, and
Mhm.
I must be honest with you, my cold calling sucks. I mean, because it's not really the first time I've done it, but I've found a couple of properties that found the people. I don't have trouble finding people's information as far as their phone numbers and stuff. But once I call them, it just, for whatever reason, it just goes horrible. Yeah, or it just went horrible. Maybe it was my first time. Maybe I was nervous. Maybe I was trying to get it too perfect. But luckily, they wasn't really trying to sell their property, so I didn't actually miss out on anything. But yeah, it takes a lot of work.
Well, would it be helpful to have a class where we just take turns? Like I'll act like the seller, or we can take turns and practice on each other.
That will work. Me and April had did. How long ago, April, when we did that? Was it about a month ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and we had practice, and the seller brought up. The potential seller brought up some questions, and you know how you just kind of try to fluff it. It was just like maybe some of those legal questions I don't know about, and you just kind of like, you just.
So, do you remember? Can you give us examples? Do you remember any of them?
One of was like one guy asked, "What's in it for me?" And so I told him that. Then he was asking,
what'd you tell him?
I said, well, you get the ability to sell your house quickly.
No repairs.
And then I just froze. It was one of those days I just froze because I didn't expect him to ask me anything like that.
Okay. What? Anything else?
Oh, I asked her. He said, well, how much do you think I can get for my house? And have you already researched it online? And so I said, well, I did a potential research online, and I was wondering, am I supposed to answer that? Because I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm nosy and get into his personal business, stuff like that. And so we just had a various conversation here and there. And I don't know, it just didn't feel like it was going good for whatever reason.
So how did it end? Well,
he wasn't looking to sell his property anyway. It was property just right around the corner, right up the street, in my neighborhood. So he was saying he wasn't looking to sell. He said he'll keep me in mind. I think he was just basically trying to put me down politely.
Well, but that's a good lead. So you're going to put that on your spreadsheet, right?
I put it on my spreadsheet. I got it on my paper.
Okay.
Reginald, what did you?
He talked to you and he was nice. He wasn't. I consider that a win.
Yeah.
Someone told me, I think you might hear these numbers when you talk to Vina. And I might have them wrong, but it's something like for every 200, let's say, mailings that you send out, and I don't know if this works the same with calls or not, but you might get 20 to 30 who call you and talk to you. And out of that, you might get 4 or 5 hot leads, and out of that, you get one deal. So it's a numbers game, and, you just keep crossing off the numbers.
Somebody was getting ready to say something. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, I think it was Jermaine. Sorry, Jermaine.
It was me. I've had people ask me that question, well, what's in it for me? And, I just simply tell them, well, I'm in it to make a little profit. This is what I do on the side to make a little extra income for my family.
And what do you tell them is in it for them?
Well, as far as what's in it for them, I never actually go into describing everything that's in it for them.
But if someone said to you, "What's in it for me?" what would you say?
Okay, well, in that case, usually I'm already into the portion of, well, what is it that that you're asking for your property? So I always try to set the tone as if I'm the buyer. Like, I'm not trying to sell you a reason or why I should buy your house. So I always try to set the tone as you're the seller. You have something to sell, you name the price.
So you don't get that question probably because you've already asked them what they want for it, and so that's what's in it for them, I guess, right?
Right, and if they want to beat around the bush, about I've had several people tell me, well, just give me an offer, just give me a price, you tell me.
And do you?
I tell them $1. A lot of some of them laugh about it, and then others say, well, it's going to be much more than that I need. Mm-hmm. Okay, then tell me exactly what you need then, and we can go from there. I don't really have time to go back and forth with people. My time is very, very limited as it is. I barely have time to make calls. So, just recently, I stopped cold calling and just started texting people. And today I've gotten out of 15 texts, I probably got about 10 replies.
That's a high amount. That's great.
Right. That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Oh, that's
not everyone is looking to sell. And a lot of the ones that I've gotten replied back on, they're not distressed properties, actually. They're actually pretty homes, which, I'm hoping to convert them into maybe owner financing or lease option if I can,
Never going to get a yes if you don't ask.
Exactly. So
Reginald, it sounds to me like Jermaine, maybe he's been doing this a little longer than you, but he's got a pretty established rapport. Like he's got a distinct personality and he's using that, and part of it's humorous when they say, he says $1, but you're a very different personality than Jermaine. You're a little more buttoned up. You're a little more formal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So what works for Jermaine isn't going to work for you. I think it's just a matter of finding your comfort zone. He's sort of got a persona, and your persona is going to be very different. But I think we can all still learn from each other.
Yeah, I got one more question also. A lot of these properties, I was looking at the Wake County website, because that's basically how I found a lot of the owners, and then I just skipped traced it from there. I noticed a lot of them was already owned by a real estate company or LLC. So if that's the case, are those people worth contacting if it's already owned by a real estate person? Because
I would say yes, and here's why. It may be your conversion rate may be lower because they're already investors maybe, but here's one thing that I've found: a lot of people start real estate investing and get disillusioned pretty quickly, and there are plenty of houses out there that someone bought for investment that didn't work out quite like they thought it was gonna, or they got, maybe they were renting it and they didn't really like being a landlord. Maybe they were going to fix it up and found out they didn't know what they were doing. I don't know, what percentage of that is true, but I can tell you it's definitely out there. So I wouldn't rule them out. I'll tell you that, I have properties, but not only do I have properties, my name is on thousands. Every time, someone buys in a trust or something like that, my name's on it, even though I don't own it. So, I mean, I get texts every day for properties. I don't even have any idea what they are. I get texts, I get phone calls, probably more than the average person, just because my name's on so many properties, and obviously I'm an investor, but that doesn't mean just because they're an investor, there still could be circumstances in which they're going to sell. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right.
So, so you've been making some calls, but you're still feeling a little awkward. I think mostly that'll go away over time. I think you'll find your stride. I think your tone is probably very professional, and what you probably need is just a little more polish, which I think the only way to get that is just doing it over and over and over again. And here's the other thing. If someone asks you a question that you don't know the answer, well, obviously, if they say what's in it for me, you should know an answer for that. But if there is a question that you don't know, I wouldn't be afraid to say, you know what, that's a great idea. I've been doing this for a while and no one's ever asked me that before, and I don't know the answer, but let me find out and get back to you.
Okay.
I think people respect that, They don't expect you to know everything. I think they appreciate honesty.
Yeah. Tell the truth. I think that's what they got the place said. I forget his name.
AC, yeah.
AC, yeah.
And I think that would work very well for you because, you definitely come across as really straight up and honest. I think that you would inspire trust in people pretty easily. Just that's your persona. I think with Jermaine, he's going to have an easier time getting comfortable with people because he's got that sort of outgoing, humorous personality. I think your two approaches are very different, but I think you'll be equally as successful, just different rapport.
Do you use a script, Reginald?
What's that, James?
Do you use a script when you call?
Do you use an AC script, Reginald?
No, I probably should use a script. I got it in my briefcase, but I just basically been trying to make sure I'm not on mute. I basically just been trying to wing it, and because the reason I haven't used a script because I didn't want to actually sound scripted, but I don't know. Maybe I do need to sound scripted.
Well, yeah, I recommend trying it, and you can read a script without sounding scripted. Just add in some little ums and ad libs, but it might really help you get comfortable. And then after you've done that script a few times, you can make it your own.
Yeah, I have a.
Right, yeah, Reginald, trust me. I've revised my scripts several times to try to make it sound more like how I sound when I talk to people. As far as what you were referring to before, when you said the person asked you what's in it for them, make a list of things that are benefits to the seller. like in the wholesaling game, the benefits are always usually the same thing. You can close fast or whenever they're ready. It should be all cash, no commissions, and you're paying all the closing costs. Those are usually like the five main, benefits to the seller, and that's usually what they like to hear. If someone doesn't like to hear that they don't have to pay the closing costs, um, and that they don't have to worry about how long, or someone qualifying for a loan, or someone drawing up a contract and then just leaving them in the dirt. You just have to kind of just list what those things are and get them out. Especially when they ask. That's usually what I do. I just list what those benefits are. They're either going to like it or they're not going to like it.
Okay.
Yeah, and Reginald, what you could do also is just keep a list of those benefits in case they do ask, and then if you won't freeze up. You'll always have a list you can read from if you get asked a question like that.
Yeah, I assume practice makes perfect. I'll get it down after a while.
You got that right. That is a good way to put it, my friend. All right. April, what do you want to talk about?
Oh boy. Well, I have a new strategy that I'm going to incorporate this coming weekend, and I don't know if it's going to flop or if it's going to take off, but we're going to find out. But I was trying to think outside the box of how to be different. Really honing in on what it is that you're really good at. Because like you were saying, we're all different, and so one thing about myself is I'm a social butterfly. I can talk to just about anybody.
Yeah.
And, and I've got that, the first thing, that people usually notice about me is my accent. And I used to own a karaoke business years ago, and I'm a real ham and a real cut up. I love to entertain people. And believe it or not, I do get stage fright, but I probably don't look like it, but I do. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought, I really, there are a lot of places down here at Carolina Beach with all the tourists and stuff, and the locals coming out, especially in the summertime and Wilmington area, where people go and hang out, doing karaoke and that kind of stuff. And so I thought, well, shoot, I'm just going to go sing at some of these bars, and I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I've really been thinking about trying to put myself in the position and in the shoes of a homeowner. And I know if I was in a situation where I was facing bankruptcy, or I'm facing foreclosure, or I've got something going on in my personal life that is just really weighing on my mind, where do people go? And I hate to say it, but this is just being honest. They go drink, they smoke, they do things to lessen their anxiety. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought, you get so many different kinds of people at pubs and hangouts and stuff like that. And so I thought, not trying to toot my own horn, but sometimes when I go out and do karaoke, people will just walk up to me and start talking to me. And so I thought, well, shoot, I'm going to use that. I'm going to get me some t-shirts made up where they kind of glow in the dark.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear them to these karaoke events. I'm going to go sing, and then start up conversations with these people, because, they want to know, oh, well, what do you do for a living? They notice the t-shirt, you're up there singing, drawing attention to yourself, so you get that platform. So I'm going to see how that goes. We'll find out, but it's something different.
So you haven't tried it yet. That's just an idea.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go out and sing this coming Saturday night. I'm actually doing singing with this girl that comes and she's got her own local band, and she comes and sings at Carolina Beach quite a bit. So I'm kind of using her as a springboard a little bit. So, my other network, but also I've kind of, re-strategized, so to speak. I started out driving for dollars, and because of the fact that it's illegal in North Carolina to pay drivers, and the fact that it's very, very time consuming, I haven't totally quit doing that, but I don't do it as much. I've been just looking at how much time I'm spending on different things in the business, and I'm trying to revamp and kind of take a step back and go, okay, what do I need to do different? That's kind of where I'm at right now. And so I'm primarily doing the lead generations right now through PropStream and focusing more on cold calls and mailing and things like that. And I've still got bandit signs to get put out. I've got them bought. I just haven't had the time to do them yet. And so I'm planning on integrating the driving for dollars in with the bandit sign placements. And my strategy is I'm going to put those out in the suburban areas instead of so much in the metropolitan areas, because I'm finding that, especially in Wilmington, you know, half of the properties here are rentals. And so, especially with COVID and everything that's going on right now, a lot of people are wanting, you know, a lot of investors are wanting rentals. They want rentals. And so I'm going to focus a lot of my attention in downtown areas, the metropolitan areas for rentals, and focus mainly my suburban areas with doing the flips. And also looking for some storage units as well while I'm gallivanting around out there. And so I did download and start looking at a marketing list that I found online. It had like 100 different things you could do to market. And I've gone through there and honed it down to about 5-6 things that I want to focus on. And one of the things I'm planning on doing, and I didn't get it from the list, but it kind of made me think of this, is getting my business cards revamped that I give to homeowners. You know, leaving your business cards everywhere you go. And I thought, well, how could I get somebody to pick up a business card and actually look at it? And it hit me. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get those business cards made to look like dollar bills, you know, like the $20 bills, fold them in half and just, you know, go to Walmart and put them, you know, sticking out of a, you know, on the floor or sticking out of a Coca-Cola case or something, you know, because if I saw that, I would pick that up and look at it.
Yeah.
They're
So
gonna put you in jail for counterfeiting money. You better chill out.
Okay, April. So because not everyone was here when you said what you said first about your PropStream leads, do you want to say it again?
I have got a bunch of PropStream leads. If anybody, and I've already filtered them and everything. So if anybody would like to work these leads, please message me and I'll be glad to send those your way.
Okay.
I've got a bunch.
Are you gonna mail or call or what?
I've already got, that's what I was working on today. I've got 250 postcards ready to send out today and handwritten. So I'm actually still sticking with the handwriting, and I've already got one VA that I've hired to help me.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm right now, I'm trying to do stuff myself to kind of time it and see how long it takes me to do it so I can pay that person per piece. So I'm not having to constantly linger over them all the time, make sure they're doing their job and they're not wasting my time and my money, because I don't like that.
Okay.
Speaking
Well,
of VAs,
you've been busy.
speaking of VAs, where is the best place to get a good VA? I need one because I cut dropping for dollars out a long time ago. It was just too much to do. And I'm about ready to cut out the cold calling. I'll stick with the text, but I need to cut out the call. I need to kind of scale some things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, someone told me before that I should allow other people to do what they do best so that I can do what I do best. And in that case, it's me making decisions. I just want to get to the point where I'm making decisions and I'm not doing all of that legwork. so that I can actually get an actual workflow going.
Am I wrong, or when Charles Smith talked to us, didn't he tell us who his VA company was? Did he, or am I making that up?
I think he did. I might have to go back and
Yeah.
re-listen.
By the way, did anyone go back and rewatch that to get his formula?
Yeah.
I've watched it about 2 or 3 times. I think, to me, he said basically what he does is he just goes through the tax sites. He goes online, gets the tax things from different counties, and just go from there. That's what I think. That's what I got. How he got most of his leads. And then he goes, on different, Facebook sites or stuff like that also.
James, what you been up to? You must have a little more free time on your hands. I see you've registered for a couple meetings recently.
Working overtime for the most part, but I do have a little bit more time. I'll probably be losing a little bit more sleep, but if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. So I was trying to use this auto dialer, and I sounded terrible.
Oh.
And I talked to the guy who's working it on Instagram, and we had probably a 3-hour conversation. Luckily, he talked to me about it, and he was on his way back from Wilmington, closing the deal.
Oh wow.
And he kind of just told me to learn it before I use it, and I just kind of jumped on and said, "I'll figure it out on the go." It was terrible. I didn't know half the capabilities it had, so now that I do, I'm a lot more comfortable, and I'm going to make some calls probably right after this meeting. I'm the same as April, so if you want to do this auto dialer thing, if anybody has a lot of leads, let me know, because I can call. It has 5 lines.
Sounds like you and April need to talk.
Yeah, it's not hard to call 500 people pretty fast.
Wow, that's really cool. So it's like a recording?
No, so ZenCall is an auto dialer app, and basically,
actually, I remember you told us this before, but I've kind of forgotten.
Yeah, so ZenCall is just an auto dialer. So basically, instead of you sitting there, hand dialing numbers, it auto dials.
And then if you get a live one, you actually speak to them.
Yeah, it beeps, and then they hello, and you just go from there. And Zillow pops up, their address pops up, Google Maps pops up, your cold call script pops up. So you have everything.
Wow, really? So you like preload all that stuff?
It loads it for you. I don't do anything.
That is cool.
So, but I didn't know what was what and where was where. So I was calling, and I'm like, "Hey, can you give me a second?" It was terrible.
Maybe you could practice that on practice it on April or something,
Yeah. But I've been practicing, and I call the tech guys, and they're super helpful. And I read all of the instructionals, so I'm better at it now.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm really anxious to hear how that works out.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at, just getting the hang of it and sounding more natural.
And then if they don't answer, does it like save it? It'll like go try it next time, or does it keep your numbers like in certain lists or something?
Yeah. So after for every call that's not answered, it goes into a file folder. Okay. For every call that's answered, after you have different, warm, hot, not interested, do not call.
Okay.
And then it sets automatic follow-ups for every call that's answered. So like in whatever days, it'll give you, an alert. Hey, you need to call these people again. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing about that in 2 weeks.
All right.
Sheila.
Well, I haven't done much. I need to get back to cold calling. The only thing I've done so far is, I had an accountant reach out to me. She was interested in knowing what I do. And she had some leads that she wanted to throw my way. Yep. But I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and go back to cold calling. And I have been driving for dollars. I just haven't called anyone.
Going to do that this week?
Yep, that's my goal.
All right. Sounds good. Was everyone on when we talked about of course, next week there's no meeting. Hopefully y'all signed up for Vina on Saturday. While I was waiting for you guys to log on, I went and did all the refunds. I think I have refunded everyone so far who signed up. So if you signed up and did not get a refund, please let me know, because that means I missed you, and I'll get it done. And then the week after that, we are going to try to get a house so we could go walk through and pretend like we're assessing it. Maybe we could just let everybody assess it and compare notes at the end while we're having our beer and wings. Something. I'll figure something out. If I can't get it by the 18th, I'll try to make that the 25th. And then I will put the idea in the Slack about see if how many people are interested in having a class where we practice on each other. We could do that live too. You think that'd be better live than on Zoom if we practice on each other, like cold calling? Or it doesn't really matter?
I think it'd be better live.
Okay.
That way we can hear everybody. We can, when two people talk, everybody can hear them and kind of get some ideas or critique or whatever.
But I'll try to set that up live, and then if anybody doesn't want to come live, we can Zoom it too, so we can do both. So you can still listen to it on Zoom if you don't want to come. Jermaine, I know we talked to you a couple times, but was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I do have one question to ask you.
Okay.
What would you say is a good rule of thumb for everything that a seller would pay in closing costs, which includes their, I guess, which includes their agent as well? Like 9 to 11% is what would naturally come out around that, or? No,
that is a great question. That's high. So if they have a realtor, obviously they're going to pay that whatever 5% fee. 5-6%, something like that. Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, I think it's usually 5 around. Well, it depends on your county, but let's say 5. For the closing costs for a seller are very little. They pay to have their seller documents prepared, which is the deed, lien waiver, and 1099. That's usually less than $200, depending on which attorney they use. And then they pay their tax. It's called doc stamps, and that's the tax. And obviously, it's based on the purchase price. So you divide the purchase price, and then times it times 2 cents. So a very good thing you could use if you so desire. Now, if a lot of your sellers maybe aren't going to have a realtor, you're cold calling and stuff. So if you get a live one and they're having trouble closing the deal, you one thing you could throw in there, Reginald, and it's like, what's in it for me? You could say, we'll pay all your closing costs. Now, when you say that, remember, they don't have a realtor. All you're really committing to closing costs is like $200. Now, when you say it, keep in mind $2 per thousand on the purchase price. You can figure out what that's going to be. On an inexpensive house, that's hardly any money at all. But if you don't want to go that much, you can say, we'll pay all your closing costs. Only thing you're going to have to pay is your taxes, on the doc stamps, because we can't do that for you. If that amount, but if you, it is because seller closing costs are really cheap. You can throw that in there to sweeten the deal. What's in it for me? Well, you know what? You can sell your house really fast. All these realtors are going to come in and tell you have to fix it up, make it look nice. We buy your house in any condition, and we'll pay all your closing costs. And then, depending, you might say, of course, you're still going to have to pay that ad valorem tax, the doc stamps tax.
So
that'll add a couple $100.
Are the end buyers paying for the transfer tax for the seller?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is the transfer tax. That's what I'm talking about. So what I would say is you play that by ear. You know in your head how much it's going to be, because it's easy to figure out. And then you $2 per thousand, divide your purchase price by 1,000 times 2. That's what that is. So you know what it is. So if it's cheap, if it's a $50,000 house, why not? So it's $25.
Right.
And then, or $100. I don't know. I'm not good at math. Someone else.
So when you say that the realtor fee is 5%, are you just talking about the seller side realtor fee, or are we talking about buyer and seller?
Well, buyers nor, well,
And I
seller.
know in this hot market, usually in this hot market, sellers are probably not paying buyers.
Oh, I think they are. So when you sign a listing agreement with a realtor, you agree to pay the whole percent, and then the realtor split that.
Okay.
So I haven't seen any change in that even in this hot market. The listing agent still puts in their contract the entire percent, and then if a buyer's agent brings that in, the seller's agent just splits that with them.
Oh, okay. So
Even in this market.
The reason why I was asking that is because I want to go through my expired listings list.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. That's a good idea.
Right. So I wanted to use that as one of the benefits of having no commission. Like, say, for instance, if a seller is stuck on a certain price,
yep.
Once I take that portion out and I get away from asking them what amount you want to sell the house for, and I get straight to the meat and potatoes. How much do you want to net?
Yep.
By knowing how much they want to net, then I can scale it back from, okay, if I take the percentage of the realtor's fees out of here and I take the closing costs out of here, then I can get the house for this amount and they can still get what they expect to net. Because I really don't care how much they want to sell the house for. I really want to know how much do they need to keep in their pocket.
Right. And if you have an expired listing and you know what they were asking for, you can pretty much figure you could automatically take that 5 or 6% off the top because, and you can tell them why. And then you could throw in there to sweeten the pot. Yeah, and I'll pay all your closing costs because that's really going to be cheap for a seller. The only variable is that transfer tax that and so you would just, sorry, someone just drove up to my house and I didn't know who it was. So you'll just know that ahead of time. This is what the tax is going to be. I am going to throw it in, or I'm not going to throw it in. So you say, yeah, I'll throw all, because Jermaine's right. Then you know what their net. If you knew they had it listed for sale for $100,000 with a realtor, you automatically can know that you can offer them $5,000 less, and they're coming out the exact same. And then they were still going to pay closing costs. You can say, and I'll pay all your closing costs. And then if it's 100,000, you'll probably say even your transfer tax. If it's 300,000, you might say, but not your tax. Whatever. You just know the numbers and know, if it's a good enough deal, what the heck, pay them all.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a really clever idea and a really good way to, another good thing that you can say, what's in it for me? Well, I guarantee you, if you close with a realtor, you're going to pay commission. If you want $200,000 for this house, you're going to pay $10,000 as commission. You're going to pay, a few hundred in closing costs. And then with me, you got none of that. I'll just buy your property as is. You don't got to fix it up. You don't have any fees.
Right, because I was working on a document that I could put in, as far as everything that they would end up paying. Like, say, for instance, having the contract with the realtor. That's about 6 months of still, if they have a mortgage, you're still going to be paying that mortgage for 6 months. And I can close in less than 30 days. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So that's another really good point. Yep.
No inspections, that they have to pay for, termite inspections, all of these other things that are required from lenders.
Yep.
If they're going on a retail route.
Yep.
So I just want to try to, kind of list what the cost to sell a house is, as opposed to an easy transaction that I could possibly give them or offer.
Yeah, well, you can figure for a buyer, a seller, closing costs are only a couple $100, but then you have the tax and you have the commission, like you said, and then you have all those other things, and those are things for your list. Reginald, put all those on your list. When they ask what's in it for me, he just gave you a really good list. All right. Anyone have anything else you want to talk about tonight? Let's keep it short, man. I've had a week. I'm ready to be done, and James is ready to go make his robocalls, his auto dial calls. All right, so I'll put it in the Slack to remind everyone about Vina. Has everyone on here signed up? Or I think, yeah, you guys all did, right? You didn't, did you, Jermaine?
No, it's for next Saturday, right?
Next Saturday, yeah, it's 9 to 3, I think.
Is
Anyway,
it in person?
What's that?
Is it in person?
No, it's on Zoom.
Oh.
And if you can't go there, the recordings will be available, but you have to be signed up. It's $47. You have to pay it just for our records, and then I'll go back in and refund you.
Okay then. All
So
right.
it's
So
free,
it's at 9
and then,
a.m.
but yeah, 9 a.m. But even if you can't go, sign up, because then you'll get the link for the recording, and you can watch it whenever you want.
Okay.
But it'd be
then.
great. It'd be great to be there live, because she's awesome, and if those of you who have never seen her, you're in for a treat. So.
Okay.
So do we get a link even if we show up?
Yeah, she'll give you the link to the recording, even if you show up. Everyone will get it. Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you, guys. It was good to see you all. I'm just gonna go take a nap. I had a really
I'm
rough.
about to go drink.
All right. Well, I might do that first. All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
You too. Bye.